one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it because you can.
Newsweek brings us this story, an update to the Houston cop story, where a former Texas police officer was handed a 60-year jail sentence on last Tuesday after a couple were fatally shot during a drug raid that exposed corruption within one of the police units. 60-year-old Gerald Goines was sentenced after being convicted last month following the murder of Dennis Tuttle, his wife Regina Nicholas, and their dog, after officers burst into their home in January of 2019. The drug raid reportedly exposed systemic corruption in the department's narcotics unit, according to an outlet of NBC News Dallas-Fort Worth, as the couple's death was said by prosecutors to be the result of Gerald Goines' pattern of lying about drug arrests and getting people wrongly convicted. He's seen too much Training Day, I think. Goines allegedly had no visible reaction as the sentences were announced after the jurors reportedly deliberated for more than 10 hours. Quote, "This is historic because we believe this is the first ever murder conviction of a Houston area law enforcement officer committed while in uniform," says Harris County DA Kim Ogg. She goes on, "We hope other victims who have been hurt or wrongfully accused or even convicted see the courage of these families and also come forward," said Ogg. NBC Dallas-Fort Worth reported that Tuttle's son Ryan was called as a witness in court and said that his father and stepmother were victims of severe systemic failure in police work, particularly with the supervision of Gerald Goines. He added that they were not involved in any drug dealing. They were good people. They did not deserve this. They were just protecting their home. The prosecutors asked for Goines to spend life in prison, according to the Associated Press. Well, he will. And prosecutor Tanisha Manning said no community is cleansed by an officer that uses his badge as an instrument of oppression rather than a shield of protection. Well, that's, I don't know, every day. Prosecutors said Goines falsely claimed someone had bought heroin at the couple's home from a man with a gun, which resulted in the confrontation at their house that saw them killed along with their dog, as well as 4 officers, including Goines being shot and wounded with another injured. Now, the officers had used a no-knock warrant, meaning they did not need to announce themselves before entering, but a Texas Ranger who investigated the raid said that the officers shot first, killing the dog. It was thought that this then provoked Tuttle to open fire, according to the local outlet. In the investigation in 2019, detectives found only small amounts of marijuana and cocaine at the house, and Goines was suspended when it emerged he lied, according to the Associated Press. He later retired as the investigation continued. He might have lied about the marijuana and cocaine, too. It was also said the 2 witnesses, who were another officer and the judge who signed the warrant, that the raid would not have occurred if Goines had not lied. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Defense attorneys had asked jurors to give Goines the minimum sentence of 5 years, pointing to how he dedicated his 34-year career in law enforcement to keeping drugs off the streets. What, by lying? The guy's a liar. The sentencing had also been delayed after Goines suffered a medical emergency in the courtroom. Big deal. Too bad it didn't take him then. One of the attorneys told jurors in closing arguments that the 60-year-old's health was in a bad way after being shot in the face during the raid. Hey, karma's a bitch. She takes no prisoners. The investigation into the drug raid revealed a much wider corruption in the unit, in which Goines was a part of a group of a dozen officers in the narcotics squad who were indicted on other charges, some of which were later dismissed, according to NBC Dallas-Fort Worth. It was reported by NBC Dallas-Fort Worth that the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals overturned at least 22 convictions linked to Goines. Goines is also set to face federal criminal charges in connection with the raid. And the families of Tuttle and Nicholas have filed lawsuits against Goines and 12 other officers, which are scheduled for trial in November, according to this outlet. So he's got 60 years. Bye-bye. Good for you. You're gone. We'll never hear from you again. But also, they're looking at a federal charge now. They may go to a trial in a federal case, probably for violation of civil rights under color of law. Civil rights violation. So, and they were talking about how officers also were killed in that raid. That's Goines' fault. He got all these people killed because he lied. And they're like, well, he had a 34-year career of lying. Don't give me that bull crap. Well, 34 years of getting drugs off the street. Yeah, he lying. How many of those times did that? They were drugs that maybe he got out of the evidence room and planted on. Guy's got cocaine. That's not mine. It's in your house. It's in your car. But it's out of the evidence room. I'm just hypothesizing here. But I'm doing it based on the fact that this guy's a liar. And now he's going away for 60 years. Oh, he might go for parole down the road, but it ain't going to be for a while. Tell you that. And he's 60 years old. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Gerald Goines, goodbye.